My name is Warren Roaf, and I'm a candidate for the state senate from the county of Bennington here in Vermont. Before I begin any remarks, I want to thank GNAT for providing this opportunity for me to share some thoughts with you today. It's refreshing to know that there are organizations such as this that provide opportunities like this in a non-biased way, especially in a time when we have so much partisanship that exists. Now, my campaign is paid for on a shoestring budget. Somehow, spending thousands of dollars to win an election just seemed contrary to me when my focus is to reduce tax burden on middle-class Vermonters. You see, out-of-control spending is the problem in the first place. Running as I am with little money is my way of demonstrating that much can be accomplished if you have great ideas and you have a commitment to efficiency. Now, free t-shirts, bumper stickers, expensive brochures, those are fine. It might be fun. But in the end, it's the strength of one's argument that wins the day. So what do I stand for? Well, I believe in education, healthcare, social programs, and the environment are all critical issues for Vermonters today. I'm not against any ideas that promote the advancement of the state of Vermont or will provide a better quality of life for our citizens. What separates me from the other candidates is my belief that we can accomplish all of these things while we reduce the heavy burden of government and the taxes that they've placed on the middle class. If that sounds impossible, let me explain how I have accomplished that kind of work in the past. For 34 years, I was an educator in Mount Anthony Union Middle School. I taught social studies. For 22 years of that, I was a teacher, and for the last 12, I was an associate principal, an interim principal, and finally the principal of the school. Now, as a teacher, I learned the value of a dollar and how you make a dollar go as far as it can. As an administrator, I learned how to do that on a larger scale. And I also learned that you have to balance the needs of the community with the needs of your school. Now, this work was far from easy, as you might guess. But to live up to my goals, I had to work hard. And I had to convince others who did not always agree with me that there are more efficient ways of doing business. I also had to listen. Differences of opinion can lead to two results. Either the two sides dismiss one another, or they work together to find solutions that make sense. I have found that the latter yields the best results. Together with those who disagreed with me, we spent long hours agonizing over where the money would come for new programs and also what would have to be cut. 2 years ago, when I was running for the House, I faced the same opponent who is now running for the Senate. During that race, he once said, "Why do we always have to talk about money when we discuss the education of our youth?" Well, apparently, he'd never had to make the difficult choices that I faced. The cost of a program must always be considered before taking action. To do otherwise is to ignore the limited means middle-class Vermonters have today. I must admit that he was a man of his word. He may have voted for some very good programs, but his record seems to indicate that establishing tax relief was not a priority. Take a look at the way he voted in 2013. He voted yes to increase state spending by 4.7%, House Bill 530. He voted yes for a $50 million property tax increase, House Bill 265. He voted yes to increase the gas tax by $21.8 million. He voted yes for a $27 million miscellaneous tax increase. Among the other taxes that this increased was the rooms and meals tax, went from 9% to 9.5%. All the time I thought tourism was a major component of our economy. Does this kind of taxation encourage small business? But he did vote no. He voted no to exempt cloud services from sales taxes. Now, examples of this are even free services on the internet would be taxed. For example, Skype, Google Voice, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and even storage systems like Google Drive and Google Apps. Now, his voting record in 2014 continued this trend for increased taxes. He voted yes to increase state spending for 2015 by 5.5% over the original 2014 budget. That was an increase of $88 million, found in House Bill 885. He voted yes for a $12.4 million increase in 2014 spending in House Bill 655. He voted yes for a $56.2 million increase, yes, again, in property tax, House Bill H 889. He voted yes for an $800,000 increase in miscellaneous fees. These fees included increases in business and professional licensing and other state services. Now, he did vote no again. He voted no to the Browning Amendment to H. Bill 884. Now, let me explain what this amendment was all about. It was simply a request for some transparency. The amendment asked that the House Ways and Means Committee and the Finance Committee ask the administration for one or two plans for how the Green Mountain healthcare system would be financed. Now, it wasn't an amendment to cancel that program. It was just an amendment to see where the money was going to come from. He also voted no to repeal and replace the educational funding system. This despite 37 towns and voted down school budgets, 37, and 43 towns lowered school spending, but under the current plan still saw property tax increase. Now, my opponents are running as a team for two positions in the state Senate for Bennington County. I understand how this potentially doubles their fundraising efforts, but also clouds the work of both of these men individually. As I pointed out, one of these men has consistently voted to increase and expand taxes. Please remember that because they are running together, you do not have to vote for both of them. We still live in a democracy in Vermont. If you believe our taxes are not yet high enough, then vote for these two gentlemen. But on the other hand, if you want to see a willingness to reach across the aisle and a commitment to find new ways to meet our social responsibilities while balancing our budget, then I would appreciate your vote. In this election, please vote for the candidate and not the party.